Mandy, I'm so excited to have you here in Valencia for a wonderful interview.
Thank you, and I am so excited to be here as well.
I'm thrilled you traveled all the way here from Australia to share a little bit about your story. Mandy, I want to hear a little bit about you, who you are. Would you just give our audience an introduction of yourself?
Of course. So I'm a small town girl from a little country town in New South Wales in Australia. And from that small town girl, I've grown into a global mentor for young professional women, a leadership mastermind coach. And I like to think of myself as the cool auntie that the young women that I work with really need to have in their back pocket. I am someone who has been there and done that and learnt all of the lessons along the way. But I certainly, once upon a time, didn't own all of that. And I fitted into all of the boxes that should have been the ones that I should have lived in. And when I found that that wasn't for me, I destroyed my life in the process of getting out.
So you say you're a cool auntie.
Yeah.
What does that mean for the people you work with?
So sometimes when you're talking to your mum can't have the tough conversations that still come from a place of such love and such care because they're your mum and you don't really listen to them. But you listen to your auntie because she's cool and she's been there and she's done that, and there's a lesser kind of judgment that comes from an auntie, or a lesser kind of expectation that comes from an auntie. I've got 2 daughters myself, and whilst I keep telling them I'm the cool mum, they categorically tell me that I am not. But my nephews think that I'm pretty cool. And the young women that I work with, they see me as their quasi-mum, their stand-in mum, but it is more of that auntie energy. I'm there by their side. I can have the tough conversations with them when they're needed, but they know that it comes from such a place of love and caring that it has the impact that's needed.
What do you think women are particularly struggling with right now in their professional careers?
So it's not just in their professional careers, it is in life in general. There is so much pressure on young women to fit in, to have the good job, to earn the good money, to climb the corporate ladder, to go to the gym every day, to go to Pilates every day, to have the amazing social life with all of the sparkle and the designer bags and the designer shoes and the right jewellery. I should be married by now. I should be having babies right now. I should be a better friend. I should be a better daughter. I should be living in the big city, having this big sparkling life. I should. And the pressure of that and the expectations that are put on young women, they're suffocating and they're overwhelming. And that's how I ended up where I ended up all of those years ago, in a box that was designed by the world around me and the expectations around me that I didn't really fit into.
Tell me a little bit more about your story and how you actually broke out of the expectations of the world.
Yeah, for sure. So I was the mum, I was married, I had the 2 beautiful daughters, I had the good-looking husband, I had the big house, I had the social life that fitted with all of those boxes, but I wasn't happy. And once I realised, and I don't think I even consciously realised, I realised deep in here, and I didn't have the skills, the emotional intelligence, the understanding at the time to be able to elegantly get out of the situation. So instead I burnt the house down and I destroyed everything around me to get out. And in doing so, I ended up at the bottom of around 6 bottles of red wine a day. And the day that I stopped drinking, I was around 3 days from not being here anymore, whether that have been from my own hand or from my body giving out. And that day I had $1.17 to my name. My daughters had gone to live with their dad permanently. Thank goodness, because I couldn't care for them. I had completely decimated my career. My hair was falling out. My skin was peeling off because I hadn't put anything into my body other than red wine for at least the last 6 weeks. And I woke up one day, and I say woke up lightly. I'm going to reframe that and say I came to, and there was a her in here inside me that all I remember is other people don't live like this. And how the hell did I get here? And there was around this much left in the bottom of a bottle of red wine that was sitting on my sink. And it was before 10 a.m. in the morning, and I knew that because there were no bottle shops open yet. Not that I had any money left to buy alcohol, even if I'd have wanted to. I was in over $500,000 worth of debt by this stage as well. And I poured it down the sink, and that was it. We're coming up to 9 years now, and I have not touched a drop, and it's not even about the alcohol. The alcohol was the Band-Aid for the unhappy life. And so I've now rebuilt my life on my terms, what makes me happy. And that's based on my values of respect and kindness and love. And they're not just values that I put out to the world, they're values that I show myself. Am I being respectful to me? Am I being kind to me? Am I loving me? Am I trusting myself? Am I trusting the her inside? The her that on that day brought me back to life.
What do you think was the biggest motivation for you to change your life?
My girls.
If you had to give a piece of advice to someone who feels like they have drove their life off the cliff edge, or they just on the cliff edge now, and they have to make that pivotal decision to change their life around, and maybe they don't believe it's possible, what would you say to them?
You will lose people along the way. In finding yourself and in trusting yourself and in loving yourself and being kind to yourself and respecting yourself, you will lose people along the way. And those people don't matter. And it will be hard. And there will be judgment. And none of it matters. Because once you are happy with who you are in here, you can filter out that noise and that hustle and those expectations and the shoulds and the woulds and the coulds. And the people who are supposed to be with you in your world will be.
What happens when you truly find yourself?
This is going to sound really corny, but just bliss and quietness. You're able to navigate, and I say this to my clients all the time, life is going to do this. If you think that you're going to come and work with me and you're going to have a perfect life from here on in, I'm sorry, my darling, that is not the way that life goes. Life does go like this. And when I have clients that work with me, they then have the tools to be able to manage this and to be able to ride through it and step through it with a level of confidence and calm.
What do you mean by the shoulds?
So many shoulds. I should go to the gym. I should look like this. I should have the designer shoes. I should be a size 6. I should be a wife by now. I should be a mother by now. I should be a better daughter. I should go to yoga 3 times a week. I should get up and journal every morning. I should do ice baths. I should have a better job. I should be living in a big city. I should be earning more money. I should have a boyfriend who fits the image. I should have all of the possessions. I should have a big house. I should have a gorgeous apartment. I should live by the harbour. There are so many shoulds that young women have filling their heads and filling their worlds. It beggars belief.
Why is it important for you to change that?
Because I've been there. And as I said, in me getting out of that, I didn't have the skills. I didn't have the eloquence, the knowledge, the understanding to be able to elegantly remove myself. I destroyed it and burnt it down in the process and nearly ended my life. So it's important to me to be able to share what I learnt along the way so that hopefully I can stop these beautiful young women destroying their lives, because some people don't come back from that, and that breaks my heart.
How do you do what you do?
I work with young women on what their values are. And often people will say, you know, I'll ask them what values are important to you, and respect and kindness and love or honesty or trust or faith, these are the things that generally come to the fore. And there's 3 ways that values come out. How you show it out to other people is the predominant one. Less how you receive respect, as an example. How do you feel respected? And the one that we least think about is, what does it take for me to respect myself? What does it take for me to love myself? What does it take for me to be kind to myself? And I work with women to ask those questions and then guide them through some of the difficult conversations or decisions or choices that they are going to have along the way, because sometimes being kind to yourself is really hard. It is really hard. I've certainly had a number of instances in the last 5 years or so where being kind to myself meant there was a massive, massive possibility that I was going to lose something that may have been really important to me. But I had to choose me first and have faith that the rest would come, or the rest would be as it was meant to be. So I work with them with regards to their values and being able to shine that on the inside. And then the little micro everyday choices that feed into those values. And if we use a glass of wine as an analogy, having a glass of wine it's not going to ricochet me back into alcoholism. One glass of wine is not going to destroy my life immediately. But that one glass of wine is disrespecting the woman that I've fought so hard to become. It is disrespecting my daughters who have chosen to trust in me again. It is disrespecting all of the hard work that I've put back into rebuilding my career. It's disrespecting everything that I stand for. So it's not the liquid in the glass. It is the micro choice that I make every single day not to have that particular liquid in the glass that is leading to the lifestyle that I now have and the life that I have.
Shed some wisdom on boundaries.
Oh, boundaries are a good one. Boundaries are important with friends, family, work colleagues, and the boundaries that you ultimately put in place realign back to those values of being respectful to yourself or being kind to yourself. And sometimes, again, they are really hard to put in place because for most people they are kind and empathetic and caring and loving and want to help and want to be there to support and want to love and care and want to please. Sometimes it's too much and you end up not being kind to yourself because you're throwing those values out more, that the balance is skewed. I often call them loving fences with the women that I work with, because boundaries are something that in my vision of the world don't have to be a rock solid brick fence that can never be moved. A loving fence is something that's got a gate. A loving fences are generally something that have got the palings that you can see through, and it means that they can be flexible when needed and when appropriate, and you'll know in here when that is needed. And sometimes, and I'm far from perfect, sometimes you need others to help shine a light on what those boundaries really do need to be. And we're always learning. And even I've just spent a beautiful week at a retreat here in Spain, and it has been just one of the most magical experiences that I've had in the longest time. And talking and spending time with the most amazing women have helped me to realise that I needed to put some boundaries in place. And I often say to the girls that I work with, if you're coming to me because you think you've got a perfect coach who knows absolutely everything, you got the wrong girl, sister, because every single person in this world is always learning. Perfection is not something that is real. Perfection is a result of what we think all of those shoulds could be. And the shoulds are unrealistic, as is perfection. So boundaries are something that I think need to have that sounding board to be able to keep them in place with love and care and kindness.
You wrote a chapter in the Women Thrive book.
I did.
Where you shared losing a very good friend, a lifetime friend, because of this very same thing, putting boundaries in place.
Yeah.
Tell us just a little bit more about becoming an author and actually sharing your story with the world.
Losing that friend was something that I never, ever, ever thought would happen in my lifetime. It had been several years in between that happening and coming to the place where I wrote my chapter in the Thrive Volume 4 book. I didn't realise how much I still needed to unpack and understand from that experience and from the lessons that I needed to learn and reflect on. Writing it's just such a therapeutic tool to have, and writing, going through the emotions, again, having the sounding board of yourself and the other women in the community really helped me to dig into not only that experience, but all of the emotions and the learnings that came from that. So it was just an amazing experience that contributed to a healing that I thought was done. It was not. And there will continue to be lessons as I keep going. It was an amazing experience, and it has inspired me. I'm now writing my own memoir, The Memoir of an Ordinary Girl, because I'm just like you and everybody else out there in the world. I'm not a celebrity and I'm not a YouTube or Instagram influencer. I don't need to have millions and millions and millions of dollars and dripping in diamonds to have influence. I'm just an ordinary girl like everybody else with a pretty incredible story which shows other women just like me that you can do what you want and you can be what you want. And for me, it's for my girls. Because if I can do it and I can show them, I'm their mum and they've got my strength in them.
I overheard you saying something today to your daughter. We come from a line of strong women.
We sure do.
Tell me a little bit about that and what it actually means to come from a line of strong women.
Gosh, I'm going to started with my nana. And she was an amazing woman. She was born in 1926 and she lived through the Depression. She was one of 8. She lived through the World War II. My pop used to go and kill rabbits for their dinner because they were so poor. She didn't like the car. She didn't like the flooring in their house. So she went out and worked so that she had enough money to buy the carpet. My grandfather lost it. But it was what she wanted, so she went out and did it. When she passed away about 18 months ago, she told me that I was doing her final farewell. And as I finished the farewell for her that day as we celebrated her life, I said she loved hard and she protected fiercely the women in her family, all of her family, in fact. And then I look at my mother, and I was a pretty sick little kid. I've only got one lung, I've got a dicky heart, I've got scoliosis, I go round and round in circles with my back. And my mum fought for me. Even when I didn't want her to, and even when I was blaming the world for everything that was wrong with me, and I couldn't be like everybody else, and I couldn't do this, and I couldn't do that, and I had to come home from school at lunchtime so she could paddle all of the phlegm out of my back. And when I had to be put into a back brace for years, and I hated her and I hated the doctors and I hated everyone around me because I was a 14-year-old teenager who did not fit in because I had this awful back brace. And she fought for me and she shouldered everything. And then we come to me. I don't know how many people could come back from what I did. I remember lying on the floor for 3 days, not being able to move. So depressed that there was just nothing left in my body. And people ask me to this day, how? And I don't know. All I can say, it was in here. The Mandy in here knew. The Mandy in here knew that I had to get up and I had to keep going. And now my girls and their stories will follow.
Before we wrap up for today's interview, what would be your last advice that you would want to give to women out there who are looking for that strength, encouragement, and inspiration? I mean, maybe they too asking themselves which direction I need to go.
Get support. Ask for help. It can be the hardest thing that you will ever do, but it's so worth it. To have a sounding board in your back pocket, to have someone who is there and who can have the tough conversations with the love and the kindness and a bit of humour along the way, asking the questions, putting yourself out there, asking for help. My mum's on a plane today from Canberra to Amsterdam to meet me. And I messaged her this morning. I said, how are you going? Because I was pretty worried. This is the first time she's internationally travelled by herself ever. She said, I got a text back. I'm fine, darling. My new motto is just ask the question. Ask for help if I need it. And I was like, go, Mum. And that's what it's about, just asking the question and not being afraid.
Yeah. Mandy, it's been a pleasure to have you here. I know you have a flight to catch.
I do.
Shortly. So before we wrap up, how can people get in touch with you?
People can get in touch with me via Instagram. It's Mandy M. I'm currently in the process of building a new website, so hold space for that. A podcast will be coming soon. Hold space for that. At the moment, it's Mandy M. You'll be able to find me on there. Facebook as well, Mandy Merrifield. You can't miss me. And all of the other contact details will come along soon.
Amazing. Mandy, thank you for being here with us, sharing your expertise. I'm super proud of you authoring your book. I'm looking forward to seeing your own book coming to life.
Yeah.
And I'm sure our audience are going to be really inspired by your story.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you for having me here.